What's up, guys? My name is Biohazard, and today we're going to be doing another Dream Buffs video, and this time we're going to be focusing on Rambo. So let's get into the video. All right, so Rambo, we're going to be talking about him, how he is kind of on the lower end of things, and how he needs some buffs to, help his overall kit, help him as a character. And so we're going to start talking about his general strings. So he's got his Ford 122 with the launching string. It's an all right string. For whatever reason, it's minus 30 on block. So if the opponent ever blocks this string, it's super death on block. The string itself also has a false blockable gap in it. So that means that, if the opponent is looking for that false blockable gap, they can punish it with false block up 2. And in general, yeah, this string is like, it's good to get, that hit confirm, but for the most part, you don't want to just kind of throw it out there. Forward 122, obviously minus 30, going to get you punished every time. They really need to make that move, maybe minus 12, maybe something more reasonable. I don't understand why minus 30. You can punish it from all kinds of ranges with all kinds of different moves. But yeah, that's generally just one part of Rambo's kit. If you notice that Rambo has, in a lot of his strings, he does have flawless blockable gaps, which makes it, if you have a lot of flawless blockable gaps in your string, it's much easier to counter the character. Every time they try to do something that has flawless blockable gap, it's always a bit of a risk, whereas other characters, they don't even have any gaps within their strings, and so they can kind of do whatever string they want to do, and a lot of them can be safe on block. And so Rambo, he does have a couple of issues with this. In general, he does struggle to get damage. If you don't have Snare Trap attached to Rambo, your general damage is probably going to be around 20 to 25%. So, if NRS wanted to maybe buff some of his damage, or either limit the amount of slots that Snare Trap makes, or limit the amount of slots that it takes for you to have Snare Trap on your kit, it would be good, because already there's certain things that Rambo does, and he can't even combo into his Snare Trap. For example, his 4-2-1 does not combo into Snare Trap, and it's one of his it's one of the strings that you would go and you would use a lot if you're going to play Rambo. It's got the range on it, it's a strong mid attack, but for whatever reason doesn't combo into Snare Trap. So you're left with his back 1-2 string, his forward 1-2 string, and I believe his back 3-3 string. So those are the more common mids that you're going to be finding, that you're going to use with Rambo. But yeah, you can also only combo on a grounded opponent. So if you ever juggled the opponent, unlike some characters where they can get a little combo and use their launcher and get more damage, Rambo has to always have the opponent standing in order to get his combo. So now you've got a 2-slot launcher that only works in some situations, and the opponent has to be standing. So it's definitely not as strong as other launchers in the game. It should definitely be toned down and made a 1-slot launcher, in my opinion. Let's see. Some of Rambo's other struggles is he actually doesn't have like the greatest anti-air either. He just struggles against a lot of opponents that want to be jumping around him, like Jackie, Cabal. Any of these characters that are super highly mobile, can be difficult for him to contain them, because his best anti-air option is only his down 2, where other characters, they might actually have a better anti-air button, or maybe some anti-air specials. Rambo doesn't really have that. And we're going to go ahead and talk about some of Rambo's customizables and what he can actually have on his kit. Customizable special moves that they kind of need to touch up on and they need to buff, I would say, are Rambo's artillery strike. It's rather slow. It takes Rambo a long time to throw out the canister and for the strike to come out. So it's generally not a really, really good move. And they could make it, maybe buff the move by making it come out a bit faster. Maybe the explosion has a bit more range, maybe more damage. A couple different things that they could do to change the move. We're going to move on to the hidden M60 machine gun, which he takes out a big machine gun, and it's a high projectile, and if he meter burns it, it's also a high projectile. Now, it's kind of strange that they went with 2 high projectiles on this. Maybe one of them could have been a meter burn, and or maybe the chip could have been maybe higher on the M60, because the chip, for the amount of bullets that he actually shoots out of his gun, the chip damage is really not that great. And overall, there's no real reason to have this move on Rambo, so definitely they could definitely buff up hidden M60 in my opinion. We're talking about the snare trap, how it needs to be 1 slot. It needs to be able to combo off of all of his starters, and we're going to move on to Fubar, which is Rambo's command grab. Now, Fubar is one of the lowest damaging command grabs in the game. It only does 9% base damage, which is much lower than most command grabs. Kano's command grab does 13%. Kotal's does 125, so that's a bit higher on base. Rambo's only does 90. Then you can meter burn it to do 130, and then meter burn it backwards to do 150. So he actually gets, for the bar that he spends, even less damage than, say, Kano with the 180 damage. Whereas also Kano has more tick throws. Rambo is really on the low end with his tick throws. He only has the tick throw, I believe, off of his down 1. And that's it. So he only has 1 tick throw. It's off of his down 1. Usually, if you have a command grab and you have access to tick throws, there's more options and more tick throws that you can create, and more mind games that you can create. Rambo can't do any of these. I would love it if Rambo had the ability to tick throw off of certain strings, maybe forward 1-2, maybe 1-2, back 3. Any of these kind of strings would be nice for him to be able to tick throw off of. And I mean, he has other bad moves. MRE is a really terrible move in general. He picks up the bug, he eats it. It's super slow. Even though he gets some health out of it, it's usually never a good reason to have the MRE on. So maybe they could speed up the animation of him eating the bug. I think that's all they really need to do with MRE to make it a little bit more viable. And then lastly, Commando, which is his he has a couple of strings that he can do a command grab off of that ends in a high command grab. So the opponent can start blocking the string, duck, and the command grab will whiff, and then he gets punished. He can't really apply this Commando tick game that well, just because of a lot of option selects in the game and easy ways to just dodge. Dodge the Commando, and otherwise he's not even really getting a lot of damage, so his risk reward off of using Commando is just not really there. And so it's kind of like that extra move that you don't really want to take, but you don't know what to take, because that's just kind of character that Rambo is. If they buff up a lot of his custom abilities, I think it will really help the character out a lot, as well as closing all the gaps. He has a pretty strong zoning game, so I don't think they really need to change too much about his zoning game. It's pretty solid for the most part. It would be nicer if maybe the whip trap came out a bit faster, but it's not too bad. And yeah, those are his main things. So Rambo's movement as well is pretty decent compared to the rest of the cast. He's got an okay wave dash. Maybe they could speed it up, maybe speed up his walk speed a bit. A couple of those things make him harder to catch if he wants to run away, make him easier to get in on the opponent. Some buffs to the movement would definitely help out Rambo as well. And you could play a little bit more like some of the wave dash characters. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video on some of the changes that I think Rambo deserves to get in Mortal Kombat 11. Stay tuned for more content. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next Beastcoast video. Take care, guys.